Hello everyone, it's me again, Cristiana Solinas, the bread and fermentation teacher at the National Bakery School with LSBU. And I'm here today to teach you, it's not a music class, don't worry, but I'm here to teach you how to make a beautiful artisan sourdough loaf. We're gonna use the yeast, the natural yeast that you guys made probably last week following my first tutorial. So bear with me because we're gonna go and start working and no more music, no worries. For the recipe we're making today, you're gonna need 400 grams of bread flour, 50 grams of whole wheat flour, 250 grams of tap water at room temperature, 10 grams of salt. That's all you're gonna need. You need to start this recipe in the morning if you want to bake your bread in the afternoon and have it ready for dinner. So how do I refresh my starter after it's been in the fridge for 5 or 7 days? So let's do the refreshing. We take a clean bowl, put it on the scale, press 0 and make sure that we have the scale on grams. We scale whatever we have, 304 grams. So how do I refresh it? I need to add the same amount of water and the same amount of flour. So press 0, 300 grams of flour, and now 300 of water, and we can simply mix it. Cover it with a piece of plastic wrap and put it in a warm spot for at least 2-3 hours or until it doubles the volume. This is what happened after I refreshed. As you can see, it's bubbly, so it means the bacteria are alive. I'm putting it back in my container. Put it back in the container, put a lid on. When you put the lid on and you transfer it in the fridge, make sure you don't hair tight the lid. This can go straight in the fridge. 4 hours have gone by, and as you can see, the levain, the starter I prepared, shows many signs of activity. So we can start making our final dough for the sourdough bread. Start scaling again, as usual, on the scale, press 0, make sure it's grams. We start with 350 grams of white bread flour. And just to add a little bit of more fiber and nutritional value, I'm going to add 50 grams of whole wheat flour. After this, we press 0 again, and we scale 10 grams of fine salt, 150 grams of our starter, and now 280 grams of tap water. 280 is how much you're gonna need in the end. We start with 250. Move the scale away and let's start mixing. It all comes together and we're sure that all the ingredients are in. We can start kneading on the bench. This is how you mix, as you can see. Take a little flour on your hand, do a final round, tight your bread under, make it in a nice round ball, and then we do what's called the finger test. So you press, and if it springs back really fast, it means your gluten has been developed. You take your ball again, put a little flour, put your dough in, cover it, and leave it to rest for 1 hour. 1 hour has gone by and the dough has fermented very nicely. Now we need to do what's called folding and degassing to redistribute the oxygen within our dough. So this is the good side. Sprinkle the counter with a little bit of flour, not too much, and then gently we let our dough fall down on the counter like that. This is what we do. First we deflate with our hand, make sure that the dough is moving around. We deflate gently, and then we fold, meaning we incorporate more air inside the dough with this easy movement. There are many ways of doing the folding. I'll just show you one, which is the one that works for me. When we folded all the sides in the center, we flip the dough over, and with our hand we tighten it up. Again, it's nice and round, and as you can see, it's nice and smooth. If I do the finger test, is springing back again. A little flour at the bottom of my bowl, put it inside, cover it again, and this goes for another hour in a warm spot. So another hour, and then we do the folding again. Then another hour, and we do the folding again. So it's 3 foldings separated by 1 hour time of resting. So I'm using the inside of my oven. So I boiled some water in the kettle, move the bowl at the bottom, put my bread here on top, take away the cover, and close the oven. We leave it in there for a couple of hours. I'll show you after the result. So as you can see, the bread, it's ready to be baked. Look how much it grew and it fermented. You can see all these bubbles. It's ready to go into the oven. You have to set the temperature as a full heat coming from everywhere and at 250 degrees Celsius. Inside, this is how it needs to look. You have to put a pot of water that's releasing steam. When we reach the temperature we want, we're gonna load the oven with our bread. We're finally ready to go in the oven. What we need is a little simple baking sheet with some parchment paper on top, and we're going to sprinkle the parchment paper with a little flour, and then take our bread and very gently, we touch it from the side. Make sure it's not stuck because otherwise you're gonna ruin it. What we have to avoid is to deflate our bread at this point, because all the gas that's gonna be inside is what's gonna give us the volume of our bread. So gently put it down and let it come out nicely. Now we rub a little bit the flour. And now the fun part, which is the scoring. We're using a blade, really thin. You can use an X-Acto knife, whatever you want. So at this point, we're gonna do like a classic square. Make sure when you cut it, you mean it. Va. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So ready to go in the oven. Probably from 40 to 50 minutes. It's a big loaf of bread. After 50 minutes in the oven, this is your final product. As soon as it cools down completely, we're gonna cut it and see what's the inside. It's pretty beautiful, isn't it? I'm really happy with the result. I look forward to seeing your product. Maybe you can send me pictures and we can compare. The bread is completely cold and look how beautiful it is. I look forward to tasting it. Look at the thickness of the crust. It's perfect. So I would say good job.